Hey, besties. Let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Oh, Salt Lake City gonna wear me out, honey. Do you hear me? Tens across the board, chef kiss. Whew. Okay, besties. Who do you think nailed their Audrey Hepburn look? Who do you think? I'm gonna go with Angie. This was a breakfast at Tiffany's theme breakfast that Mary threw. And there's a lot to say. Bronwyn is still the MVP. She is still the MVP, honey. She made Heather fold like a big old beach towel. Ah! Hey, besties, welcome to Behind the Shade. Honey, let's throw some shade and get into another lit episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Whew, this is season 5, episode 10. The title is Kiss Kiss Bangs Bangs. Do we like the title this episode? No. Will we change the title? Yes. I have a few things, but at the beginning of the episode, there was a guy narrating and he was trying to make a joke. And he said, will she get Hepburn? Like Audrey Hepburn. So I like that. Will she get Hepburn? Because baby, a few of them got Hepburn. And how would you rate this week's episode, besties? You know it's a 10 plus, A plus. It's a 12 for me, honey. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 12. Matter of fact, it's a 20. These girls are bringing it, and we need them all to come back next season, even Brittany. Okay, so drop down in the comments. Tell me what you would rate this week's episode. What do you want to rename the title? Do you like my title? Do you agree? You don't have to. And just tell me what you think about these ladies. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Okay. So Lisa and Heather, of course, they meet up at Kimosabi. And I was looking at the place like, why have I been here before? Well, it's where Beverly Hills, where Kyle Richards brought the girls on a ski trip. She has a house in Utah. And she took the girls there and she bought an expensive cowboy hat, right? And then, that's when her sister Kathy and what Lisa Rinna got into their mess, all at Kimosabi. And I'm just looking at Heather like, oh gosh, she thought it was a Japanese spot. Girl, you don't know nothing about Kimosabi. It's like, anyway, this is not a history class, but okay, girl. So they meet up, and so there's a speakeasy at this place. Now, mind you, Lisa was shopping. She bought 2 pieces, and we never saw her with a bag. Maybe they held it for her until after she got out the speakeasy. So they go into the speakeasy, and of course, they talk about the trip to Palm Springs. And the drama between Lisa and Bronwyn and about Heather not being on the trip and all that. So Lisa tells her that she missed Heather and she didn't like being on a trip without her. And I'm like, oh, but you left her. If you wanted her to go and she wasn't coming, you should have came. And the way you acted, you should have stayed home. Sorry, besties, I had to drink my coffee. Also, Bronwyn told Lisa a different story as to why Heather wasn't there. So there's that. So Lisa says, she wishes you were there. She invited you to her house, and you said she was venomous and didn't want to, and it didn't go well. And so then, that's when you left her house, she was in tears. And it's like, um, why are you making it seem like Bronwyn is die, like just can't? You heard me, I almost said a word I can't say. Why you acting like Brahman is so destitute to be friends with Heather? That's not how she meant it. You know, her thing was she wanted to include her, but she wasn't finna put up with her mess. And Heather acted a fool. Heather was over there like, well, I don't want to be friends with you and I'm gonna leave. Heather came over there thinking she was gonna get an apology, and it's like, Brown would be clocking. She like, well, to get one, you need to give one, honey. That's how accountability works. You don't have self-awareness, honey. That's what she told you. And yes, she was in tears, but she was just in tears because it didn't go well. And Heather, I don't know why you just got it so in for Brahman, because when y'all was in that truck going to Wendy's, you was just as messy as Brahman. So don't be sitting there acting like you was like, oh my gosh, she's such a bad person. You was back there adding your shade too, because you are shady. So Lisa said it was uncomfortable too when she called Heather from the hot tub. Well, you wasn't supposed to do that. Why did you do that? It was dumb for you to do that. You were on this girl's trip supporting her. You know they ain't getting along. Why would you even call the girl? And not call her. You FaceTimed her. So now you're being extra rude by letting the girl see the background and let her see what you're doing. You're a little messy, Lisa. Lisa, I say ghetto Lisa. And ghetto girls do ghetto things, okay? And she was like, she was livid and should have been. She should have been livid. And so she said, and then Todd father told John to fix it with Brahman or we had to leave. And Heather's like, leave the trip? Like go to the airport, leave? Yes, Heffa. Yes, exactly. The Todd father said what he said. So Heather asked, like, well, what did you want to do? Well, what did they want you to do? And it was like, well, and Lisa, be against her, be against you. And it's like, no. The answer was Lisa said she wanted me to be against you, as in Heather. And it's like, no, that's not what Bronwyn has been telling you. You don't comprehend. Bronwyn does not mind you being both people's friends. She wants you to support and defend her like you do Heather. You got to make it even on both sides. She told you that. Right before she told you, think, Lisa. So child over at Brahman's house, honey, the Todd father is outside, honey. She goes out there like, what's up? What we doing? How you feeling? Honey, he is livid. You want to talk about somebody that was livid? He was livid. So he tells her that he's never seen her act that way in the 10 years they've been together. And she was like, you were screaming in the back and forth with Lisa. And she's like, I was screaming? You didn't, I was acting up. She was like, what? And her thing is, I don't think she got emotional. And, you do that when you talk to ghetto Lisa, because Lisa will take you there because she going to be so darn defensive about everything. She don't accept nothing you bring to her. That ain't what happened. No, that's not it. That's not it, bro. That's not it. So he's like, and what did you accomplish? Nothing. And then he told her she ruined the afternoon and it wasn't becoming of her. And she's sitting there looking like, what? And then, she tells us that, she's telling him, well, she tells us in her confessional that his opinion really matters to her more than anything in this world. We understand he's your husband. And I see a lot of people, the Todd father gets a lot of pushback on his behavior. I've seen people calling him rude, obnoxious, blah, 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 blah. But you have to understand, this is what you get when you marry a man that is old enough to be your father. That man is in his 60s, correct? And they're like 26 years apart. Baby, you married your father. So he's going to treat you like a kid. You guys are on two different maturity levels. Like, Brahma, you're demure, but you going to razzle dazzle a little bit, because you're trying to find your footing on this show. Todd ain't with it. Well, Todd, let me tell you what. I guess they didn't run the tapes to show you what you were signing up for or what your wife was signing up for. Well, he had to sign a contract too. But if this is not your thing, then we don't need to see you on our screen anymore. You need to just always be out of town. Because we need Bronwyn. She ain't going nowhere. Bronwyn, you better not leave. And Todd, you better not tell her. So she tells him that she just doesn't know how to act with these women. And just in the moment, she didn't know how to act because they all yell and call each other names. And so he said, well, you know what you do? You leave. And I was like, no, like leave the show. No, no, no. So he said, leave with your dignity, like walk away. And so it's like she's just sitting there like, she's embarrassed, right? She disappointed her daddy, the Todd father, and so she's embarrassed. So he said, they're sucking you into their BS, and you just need to just get out of that. And so she's like, yeah, well, I'm going to see them at Mary's brunch. It's going to be weird. And so Todd told her, cowboy up and change. And what does that mean? But he also says something cool. Because, I kind of like the Todd father. Because I'm not, I'm older than Bronwyn, but not too, let me see. I'm closer to Todd's age than I am Bronwyn's age. But I'm nowhere near his age. But I'm not 36. And I'm nowhere near 36. But he said, your friends shouldn't be bringing out the worst in you. And that is that. And I said, that's all we needed to hear from the Todd father. That's it. We don't need to see him anymore. Like Bronwyn, we love Todd, but we don't need to hear from him. Like, don't put him in those spaces. He's older. He don't have time for it. He's past all that. He is living he's in his golden years, and he's just trying to relax, enjoy you, have some fun. That's all. It makes some money. That's all he doing, and clearly he like to eat good. That's all he want to do and collect his Starbucks cups. Okay, okay. So Lisa says she feels good about her and Bronwyn. She knows she was being a good friend to Heather. Whatever. She doesn't want to be in the middle of them, and I don't blame her for that. And she just hopes they get it together. Okay, point taken. But at least at the same time, you need to stay out of it. You need to just be quiet from here on and just encourage positivity and encourage them to be friends. You need to stop defending one and not the other. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. Heather says Bronwyn can't come into this friend group because they are foxhole friends and they've been through the fire together. And so she was like, oh, but what are you gonna do? And so Heather gonna say, but I'll teach her. And then Lisa gonna say that's fair, and then they cheers because the speakeasy is a secret bar. Like a hidden, there was like a hidden wall that you push, and bam, we got a whole bar behind this wall. And so they cheers to that. You'll teach her, okay, girl. Heather, you think you gonna teach her. So over at Angie's house, she's having dinner. She has her father come over. They sit down. It's just the two of them. And she's talking about being a mother and how overwhelming it can be to be a mother. She pushes really hard to be the best mother for Electra because her mother passed away when she was 8, so she didn't have that. And she grew up seeing her father take care of 7 children. He would go to work, he would come home, he would cook, repeat, 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 right? And so she says she struggled with being mad at her mom for not fighting to stay alive. And so I was like, what? She said something to the fact about she was, an alcoholic. And so um she's crying because she's been mad at her mom. And so I thought that her mom was sick and passed away, sick. But it sounds like her mother had a sobriety problem and she didn't kick it. She couldn't defeat it, or she didn't want to. And she, you know, passed. And so she's crying. And so I'm like, okay, that was a cute little moment. But let's get to it, honey. Let's get to it, honey. We over at Mary's house. Because, honey, we ain't really seen Mary in 2 episodes. We got a little clip of her and Robert Jr. We know what he going through, what she's going through with him. But, baby, let's get to Mary. We need some Mary time, honey. So Mary is, honey, hosting the breakfast at Tiffany's party for the girls. Because she wants these heifers to get better and get close and get back on track. Wah wah wah. And you know, Mary, she does it bad, honey. The house is fresh to death. Oh, sorry. The house is fresh. Can't say that word. She has party planners. She has decorators. She has butlers. They're outside. They all got on girl tuxedos. Okay. They got the Tiffany blue. They got the Tiffany blue umbrellas to walk the women in from the car to the out to the front door. Child, she got, of course, of course, there's chefs there and anything in between. She has a bartender. She got this, she got that. It is decked out. I love turquoise. Turquoise is my favorite, my absolute favorite color. So, I was loving all of that. So, so Miss Ma'am, the hostess, she ain't even downstairs greeting the people. She's still upstairs getting ready. She's fashionably late at her own party in her own house. So Bronwyn shows up first, and everybody has to look like Audrey Hepburn. They have to do the whole theme, right? So Bronwyn shows up in this cute pale yellow dress. I didn't think that of Audrey. I thought Audrey wore a black dress, with the bangs and the gloves, with the cigarette holder, with the pearls. Maybe not cigarettes, but that's just what I'm thinking. The old was like 50s look or whatever. So Brahman shows up. She has her bangs. She got a little clip-on bangs. Her hair is back in a little ponytail. Looks like it's all her hair. She don't have on no extra hair today. She but does Brown wear extensions? I really haven't paid attention. Maybe she doesn't. So she shows up first and she talks about how normally she's always fashionably late, but she's so scared of Mary, she didn't want to be late because Mary will check your butt. So she's there on time. She's just there hanging out with the bartender. He just looking like, hi, what do you want? And she's like, well, let me get a drink so I can keep my hands busy. What? So then Meredith shows up. Girl, what happened? Who did that to you? Oh my God. Meredith looked a mess, but she tried to nail it. I don't know who helped her with this look. Did Brooks do this? Because, he's known for styling her from time to time. Her little, her bun wasn't bunning. Her bangs just, they were horrible. Because, everybody can't wear bangs. But I'm not gonna ride on her too much because people have dogged her to the dirt, and I have laughed, and I don't want to follow suit with that. I want to be mature. I want to be more demure. So, Meredith, here she come. So then Bronwyn and Meredith talk a little bit about the trip. She tells Meredith that she got a lecture about her behavior and all the yelling and the gutter sniping. So Meredith says, she's not wired like that either. And, but all that yelling. Then Mary comes down from wherever she came from, probably her hair salon or her big old room with all them clothes in the background. So she comes down, and so she wanted to bring the style out of these women. So, Mary says, fashion, anybody can have fashion, but not everybody has style. And of course, well, Meredith didn't conquer the style part, but Mary says she looks up to Audrey Hepburn, and Lisa comes in wearing this Tiffany blue jumpsuit that Mary had on last season. She was on Watch What Happens Live. Watch What Happens Live. I think this was a Fendi turquoise, like not kind of metallic, satiny jumpsuit. It does. I don't know. It did not scream, the theme. But what I remember from when they were in Palm Springs at the what was the guy's name at the Barbie Hotel, Trixie. Lisa does not like themes. Remember, she was like, I'm not gonna walk out of here without makeup. I can't do, she don't like themes. So I guess her thing was she was gonna wear the blue. And that was it. She didn't have her hair up. She likes her hair part down the middle, straight down. Don't bother her, okay? And so Mary did not appreciate that she was coming to her house rocking the same jumpsuit as she. So of course, in Lisa's confessional, she had to let us know that she was sitting front row at the Fendi fashion show in New York. And even though she's sure Mary went and bought her jumpsuit from the department store, but Lisa saw it first. Mary may have worn it first, but she saw it first before it even came out. Okay, Lisa. So Whitney comes in, and her impression of Audrey Hepburn was nice. I liked her look. She did the headband because her hair is short, so she can't pull it back. No bangs, not doing that. So she did a headband, but I liked her look until Angie came. So Whitney was good too, but Angie did it for me. Angie nailed it. She had the pearl. She had the cute, tight fitted black dress. She had her hair up in a bun, French roll bun thing, but she didn't have bangs per se, but she had them to the side and they kind of cascade down her face, and it was awesome. Loved it. Angie nailed it. Then here comes Heather in a cream sweater and some cream slacks with her hair down. What? Like I saw nothing that embodied Audrey Hepburn with crazy old Heather, but why not? And then she had these two big old clips on the side of her hair. I don't know, whatever. So then she comes in, she speaks to everybody but Bronwyn. And Bronwyn is standing there in between whoever, and she walks past her to speak to everybody else. And it's like, oh, okay, and Bronwyn commented in her confessional. So Heather did not understand the assignment, and that's rude. Now, I wish a heifer would come to my house and be a part of a party that I'm hosting, and you don't speak to someone in the room. Yeah, you definitely would have to be asked to leave because you are just rude and you're not bringing that energy here. But this is a reality show. She's paid to act up. Understand. So Angie noticed that Brittany had a name card on one of the place settings, and she brought it up. So Mary said, "Oh yeah, I invited Brittany because I wanted her to know that I'm not poor." Ooh, Mary is. This is what I missed. Haven't we missed her? Y'all know we missed Mary. Mary said, "Yeah, I invited that heifer because she needed to know, honey. I'm not poor, honey. These are Versace plates, honey. With the matching flatware, honey, and all the glassware, honey. This is Versace." And then here comes Brittany. She done blew in. She looking a hot mess. Probably even came from one of them Mormon meetings. Got on too much makeup. Looked like an orange. Looked like somebody looking like an orange or a peach. Hair all a little disheveled. What do you have on? Some kind of white suit? Sit down, girl. So she gonna say, the best comes last. Girl, please. Then Heather thanks Mary for inviting everyone to her event because that didn't happen for the Palm Desert trip. Girl, Heather came in, sat down, stirred the pot, honey. She is stirring the pot right out the gate. And then she over there looking at Bronwyn, but Bronwyn paid her dust. She was like, girl, I'm not even, that ain't gonna get me. I'm not moved. Okay. So Mary keeps it going and she introduces Meredith's caviar. So she tells us what kind they're having and what kind they had the last time. Thank you, Meredith. So then Whitney asks, can she break the bread with the caviar? And she says yes. And then she looks at Brittany and tells her, and don't put any bread in your purse. And Brittany says that she can't because her purse is too small. You was gonna steal the bread, girl, and the caviar. You know she was, and she was gonna go home and call Jared and have him come over. I got some caviar and bread from Mary's house. So Brittany had asked who all was invited to go to Palm Springs. It says, because Mary is the only one who invites her to anything. And so then she jumps on Angie for bringing a bottle of wine to the family night, the Mormon night where they come and you host them. And she's like, um, she says walking into a church group with a bottle of wine just seems so off. And so she was like, I'm Mormon. And so Whitney says, but you're drinking champagne right now. And I love that. Thank you, Whitney. Whitney be like, but you're doing it now. She said, yeah, but this is for me. Like for me, I can do it for me, but not for we. Me, not we. So Angie says, you're doing like 3 guys right now. You drink and you claim to be a total Mormon. I'm starting. I don't know if I didn't like Angie before. I wouldn't say I didn't like her, but I'm liking her more now. Now that she's decided to get her nose out of whose butt. So that was good. So then in Mary's confessional, she says that Jared has been in her DMs, honey. I said, not the pastor. Does Jared know you a pastor? What is Jared stirring? What is he doing? Why are you doing that, Jared? Why? And so she says she hasn't told Brittany and she ain't gonna tell her because she got a lot going on in her life already. And she don't need to be a part of no soap opera. Because that's exactly what this would be. She ain't got it to do, honey, child. That last powwow she had with Meredith, she had to go sit down with Electra and take a break and take her shoes off. Her feet started hurting, child. So Angie says, like, when they pray at communion, they drink wine. So she was like, she said, I didn't expect you to open the bottle up in front of everybody that was there. So then Whitney asked, are you mad that she brought the wine to your house or that she exposed that you do drink in front of your little friends? Okay, Whitney, I love it. Put her on the spot, Whitney. Put her on the spot. So Brittany's like, well, it's culturally awkward that I drink and go to church. Girl, you're not by yourself, okay? Get a grip. And so Heather, in her confessional, she understands because, as a Mormon, you're not supposed to drink. And, that's why she didn't jump ship. And Brittany admits that she is on edge because she just feels, excluded in this group. Girl, have you even noticed? You so far up Jared's Batuki. We didn't know you noticed that you wasn't invited. And does Bronwyn even know you like that, Brittany? I don't. Do they even know each other? They don't even know each other like that. And what? I know this is a cast. This is a reality show, and some people are not married, but it's a couple's trip to celebrate her anniversary. Why are y'all so hard pressed to want to come on a couple's trip where you don't have a couple? Heather, at least Brittany would pull Jared and make him go. And she got options. She dating 2 other people. So Lisa says she didn't think to check on her because she has been super rude about Bronwyn's married life. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I just thought they ain't even cool like that. So Bronwyn says, yes, you called me a gold digger. So Brittany is like, yes. You said Todd's disgusting. No, I didn't say that. You don't think I'm attracted to him? I said that. Girl, well, tell your truth then. Mary says no one should be talking about people's husbands. And of course, that's the perfect person to say that because y'all better leave Robert Sr. alone. You notice they ain't said nothing about Robert Sr., honey. We ain't seen him. We ain't seen a hand, a foot, the back of him walking down the hallway. We ain't seen his car in the driveway. We we ain't seen him call on her telephone. We ain't heard him call his son to see what he doing. Child, nothing. And that's how we want it with Todd Father now. We want Todd Father and Robert Sr. to hang out. From now on, we got this, y'all. We don't need y'all. These girls, for real, this group of women, they don't need the husbands. You know how, like, New Jersey got the husbands and that keeps everything going? And you know how Love and Marriage Huntsville are about the husbands? And you know how Atlanta, old school, Real Housewives of Atlanta used to have Greg and Peter and all that. These girls, they do not need their husbands. Connie Seth is a wimp. John is a super wimp. Sean is, a little demure. He don't have to be a part of this mess. These girls don't need their husbands at all. So, oh, excuse me. So, yeah, good going, Mary. Don't be talking about a husband. And you better be quiet before Brittany asks you who is your husband. Because she might say, she know you ain't paying for all this by yourself. And did y'all notice Brittany didn't even come in and acknowledge how beautiful Mary's house is? She didn't say nothing. Hater. So, you said our relationship is BS. I did say that. And so they had more back and forth, but I just had to write down these things because I thought it was so funny how Brahman would throw an accusation out at Brittany, and Brittany would be like, I said that. No, I didn't say that. Yes, I said that, but no, not that. So they had some more back and back again. Then Heather asks again, why didn't you have a prenup? And Brahman is like, why are you so into this prenup? Like, why do you care so much? Like, girl, who hurt you? And she said, no. You're not finna open up this door again. You don't know him. And so Heather comes back and she's like, I only know 3 things about the Todd father. He doesn't have a prenup. He collects Starbucks mugs. And everybody's kind of looking like, what? So they had to flash back to when she went to visit and Bronwyn showed her Todd's mug collection. And he's a butthole, but she said the A word. He's an a-hole on couples trips and when he wants someone to leave. Boom! Heather just threw Lisa under the bus. Yes, she did. Because clearly she called the Todd father an a-hole. And Bronwyn said, cute Lisa. She let her know. Oh, I love that Bronwyn. She know when to talk. Like when Heather sat down and thanked Mary for inviting everybody, Bronwyn didn't bite that. But honey, she picked up on that. He's an a-hole. She looked right at Lisa and said, cute Lisa. Cute Lisa. And I thought that would be a cute title for this episode too, y'all. But I kind of wanted to stay on Audrey Hepburn because that was the theme of the party. But I like that cute Lisa. I'm gonna have to add that. But I don't be in no drama. Me and my home girls, we good. So boom, you got thrown on the bus, Lisa. So Mary tells Heather that Bronwyn does care and she wants to get along with you. So I'm not sure if that was what made Heather change her script or not. So then, but Heather tells Mary, well, she would have invited me on the trip then. Oh God. Heather, she said on the group trip. And I'm like, Heather, it wasn't a group trip. It was a couple's trip. You're not a couple. Okay. Let's move on. So Bronwyn says she planned on her coming. She's like, I bought you a first class return ticket. And she was like, how? Because no one knows my birthday. You don't know my name. And so it's like, what? So Bronwyn was like, I asked someone for your birthday and your name. She was like, well, I lie about my birthday to everybody at this table. So no one here knows when my birthday is. It's like, what? Wait, what? What happened? What do you mean? What is the point in not telling your birthday? I mean, I understand, Heather, you look old You don't want nobody to know how old you are because you're probably 13 and you look 79. But why can't you tell people when your birthday is? So Whitney, she is on the clock. She Googled it and it said her birthday is on June 29th, but it don't have a year. Child, Heather gonna keep that year private, honey. She don't want y'all to be talking about her. Well, Heather, people gonna talk about you anyway. And I agree with Mary. You still look like an inbred. And why don't you want people to know when your birthday is? Like, you don't throw birthday. Did Whitney? I guess no. I guess that was Jen Shaw that had a birthday party. I'm like, so you don't throw birthday parties for yourself? You don't plan birthday trips, or you do? You just don't tell them everybody when the exact day is. Well, you know what? Heather got so many issues with her raising and how she grew up. We don't know, child. So, so then Heather asked, "Well, who took my first class ticket?" And so Angie said, "Not us. We didn't take it because we was on that coach. Honey, I was at 17C, baby." So Lisa says, "Not her, because there was one first class ticket available. And then by the time John got on the app to purchase it, it was gone." Child, because the Todd father went in behind Bronwyn's back and he purchased those first class tickets because he didn't want to sit by y'all. He wanted to be far away from y'all as possible. I think the Todd father bought them 2 seats, honey, and he old, so he probably did it one at a time and didn't know to hit 2 seats. And he said, "Uh-oh, let me go back." And he went back in there and bought the second seat. That's what happened. Oh, I hope that comes out at the reunion. Tell me I'm right. Y'all better remember this moment. So Bronwyn says, "This is just insane." And it is, because Bronwyn paid for a private jet. She invited y'all to come. She spent $20,000 a night on that house. Y'all had everything that y'all wanted. She bought you and your husband gifts. I don't even know what she bought them, but they were gifts, and y'all all had a ride back home, but y'all was acting up. Todd, I know the Todd father told her to go and put them on coach, and she had to go and change that up. Sure did. And so Lisa said she wished she would have known that, she was flying coach so she could have bought her own ticket. Well, if you would have shut up and acted correctly, you would have been back on the cup. You probably would have been back on the private jet. Or maybe it seems like the intention was to fly private there and to fly back first class back home. Was that the intention, you guys? Is that what you guys think? Or do you guys think that they were going to go back private? Because I don't understand why they just wouldn't go back private too. I'm just going to, I don't know what y'all think. I'm going to let y'all tell me what y'all think. And so then Lisa gonna look at Angie and say, "Well, you wasn't thrilled about it either." Angie like, "Girl, I was fine. Don't put that on me. I'm fine. I understand. I was grateful. I understand that this girl spent money to get me to go hang out with her. I wasn't complaining about no goddamn coach, no 17C. I was gonna sit my little skinny butt down on that chair and go to sleep any old way." She wasn't. They did a flashback. She was talking about it with Lisa because Lisa was all getting all emotional about it. But that's not how, no, Angie wasn't tripping. So Heather asked her, "Well, why did she book the first class for herself and coach for them?" And it's like, Heather, why do you care? You wasn't there. None of this trip has anything to do with you. Why are you just trying to produce this moment? Golly. And girl, honey, I love when Bronwyn told that heifer. Because you're just going too far, Heather, into somebody else's business. Now you all in their money. She said, and it's like, why would you, I'm thinking in my mind, why are you asking the obvious? I put them fools in coach because of you. you know. And so she said, hold on, what did she say? I got to tell y'all what I thought about later. So she said, what did she say? She said, "Cause it was my god dang credit card, boom. And she said something else, and I did what I wanted to do with my money. Now let's go back to last week when they was talking about this 67-minute flight. Let me address this to you guys. After I did my review and after I just went on about life, you know how you be thinking back on stuff. And I was sitting here, like you guys know, I'm living in the Bay Area. And I love Palm Springs. And I thought when I fly to Palm Springs nonstop, that flight is an hour and a half. Sorry, is an hour and a half. It's the same time as flying to Vegas. And I'm thinking, no, that flight from that Palm Springs is darn near to Mexico. It is at the bottom of California. If you don't live here, California is a huge state. It's long. It's not like Texas. Texas is wide. California is long. Okay, it takes a day to drive out of California, right? So more than a day, probably, but a day. Let's just go with that. So I'm sitting here like Google. I got on my Googler. How long is a nonstop flight from Palm Springs to Salt Lake City? You guys, it is a 2-hour flight nonstop. Child, 67 minutes. I can only fly from here to LA in 67 minutes. It's shorter than that, but I'm just giving you guys an example. From Northern California to Southern California, you can do that in an hour, but you can't get out of deep Southern California to Utah in those 67 or 47 minutes. I don't care what plane you're on. You can't do it. The Googler said it's an hour and 50 minutes. So it's like, what is all of that about? And how come nobody has clocked that? So anyway, it's a 2-hour flight. Boom. Okay, there y'all have it. You see what's up? Even still, you could sit on a coach flight, Lisa, for 2 hours. So Brahma in her confession says Heather spins the conversation to make the ladies forget she was wrong in the argument, and she is absolutely correct. Brahman says to Heather, everything we tried to get to the bottom of, you change what you're mad about. Girl, she like, there's no ending with you. There's no resolve with you. Every time we address what you're mad about, you spin the block and bring up something else. Excellent, Brahman. That was excellent. Then Whitney tries to talk to Heather, and they have a back and forth and back again. And Heather admits that she was hurt by not being invited. Brown says she still wants to get to know Heather, but she has, she said, but you got me all figured out all wrong. Everything you thinking is all wrong. She wants to show her on the trip that she is not what she thought she was, but that didn't happen. But Heather is being difficult, and she's being difficult on purpose. And so then no heifer comes clean. Start calling her Heifer Heather. She says, you know what? I'm very protective of my friends. You know, my friends are my family that I lost because she don't have a relationship with her mother and barely with her sister and anybody else because of that Mormon stuff. So Heather acts out of pain and hurt from her childhood and her young adulthood and being a Mormon and being married and all that. She has all that. So she's protective over Lisa and all that. She says, we do all have complicated relationships, but I don't expect you to understand that. So right there, right then and there, I'm like, okay, Heather is jealous of Bronwyn's life. That's it. And I get it. And because of the pain you come from. Bronwyn is just all happy-go-lucky, but we don't know her story, do we? Where's Bronwyn's mom? Oh no, they are cool. They are cool. But she has that issue with her daughter's grandparents. So you got to just worry about yourself. Everybody got something. You can't just be envious of people because everybody got something. Most people. So Meredith is shaking her head like, we are complicated, girl. Like, bro, are you sure you want to be a part of this group? So she was just hurt to be left out. Her feelings are hurt. So she says she's sorry. She said, I know I've been being mean to you, and I'm sorry for the disruption of you coming into this group and trying to, be friends. And she said, I want a clean slate and I would like to move forward with you. She like, cool, cool. Okay, bet, cool. Now here goes Brittany. She gets up and she says, well, what about me? I want my kumbaya moment too. Girl, you are so childish. Oh, Brittany. How old is Brittany? Whatever age Brittany is, divide that in two, and that's how old Brittany acts. She acts like a kid. So Lisa tells Bronwyn she's sorry too. She apologizes. Bronwyn asks, do you feel that way? Like, or are you just saying that? You know what I'm saying? And she said, I feel that way. You need to apologize because you got a lot of mess started, you little ghetto girl. So Mary tells the ladies, she tells them like how to treat each other. Like, let's listen to each other, work it out, and let's move along. Then Angie tells Meredith that she wants to move forward with her, but they need to resolve that podcast issue with Sean. Oh boy. And so Meredith is like, I was protecting my child. Now, the real issue is Meredith saying that Sean was gay, alluding to that. So the alphabet community came and trolled the mess out of Meredith. And so Meredith tries to backpedal with I would never talk about someone's type of preference, person preference. That's what I'm going to call it. Because, I can't say the word because it starts with the S word and ality is the ending. So the type of people they want to, bang bang with. And she's like, because my son is gay. So Meredith says, like, all Angie do is deny, deny, deny. And since you want to go there and let's do it. So now you know what Angie has to do every time she get into it with somebody, honey. She got to stand up. And I get that because sometimes you got to stand up so your brain can function right, so you can get your words out. Sometimes when you sit down, you're just too relaxed. But when you stand up, you can stand on business, honey. You knew I was gonna say it, honey. So Angie, but you get into it with her, she got to stand on business, literally, and do. And so, here, Meredith, let's do it. You want to go there? You want to go there? So here you go. Honey, she pulls out her phone and she plays a recording of Sean talking about a whole bunch of nothing. But allegedly, he was supposed to be talking about Brooks or whatever. And so Whitney grabs Meredith's phone and Meredith goes nuts. And it was kind of like, Whitney, why did you grab this woman's phone? So Whitney was like, I'm trying to turn the volume up. Well, you don't grab the girl's phone. You ask her to turn the volume up. So Meredith gets up, goes, give me my phone. Don't take my phone. Give me my phone. So she takes her phone. And it's like, Whitney. So Angie says Meredith is miserable. And honey, she said it 5 times. You're miserable. You're miserable. You're miserable. You're miserable. So they go back and forth and back again, honey. And of course, Angie is still standing up. So Mary is trying to get them to stop yelling all up in her house. This is embarrassing. All these people. I got staff here looking crazy. And y'all in here acting a fool. People don't like all that in their house. You could argue in a restaurant, but you don't do that in people's house. So they yelling at each other, and she's like, listen to me. And they're not listening to her. They kept arguing. So Meredith says to Mary says to Meredith, if you're not going to listen to me, get out of my house. But Meredith did not hear the if you're not going to listen to me part. All Meredith heard was get out of my house. And Meredith just stopped and she was like, I will. I'm going to go. I'll go. Now they're going back and forth and back because, they're supposed to be friends. And Meredith is being uneasy still because she still got that energy from, who was she arguing with? Angie. So now Meredith wants to leave because she hurt. Mary is like, no, so you're going to leave? Like, you're not going to stay here and just work this out? Because I'm trying to explain to you, like, if you're not going to stop screaming in my house, then you have to leave. Like, I'm not telling you to leave. I want you to work this out, but you got to stop yelling. And so Meredith's like, I got attacked for the 8,000th time and I have to go. I love you, Mary, but you and Angie can just rip me apart while I'm gone. And baby, as she was walking out, she took her gift. Mary had, what did Mary give them? It wasn't a Tiffany blue box. It was something. A journal or something. And honey, Meredith grabbed her gift, honey. She was like, let me grab my gift before I get up on him. Since she probably didn't get a chance to eat. all she had was caviar, and it's her caviar. So Mary's like, you're not gonna get this straight. I have to go. And Angie says, when it gets tough, she has to walk. I heard that, Angie. So Mary says in her confessionals, thank God she took those bangs with her. She said that was not Audrey Hepburn, honey. That was the Flintstones. Mary said Meredith's bangs look like pebbles. She walked in here looking like pebbles. And Betty wore bangs too. I guess did Wilma, did she wear bangs too? Child, she said Meredith came up in here looking like the Flintstones. But baby, that was the hot, juicy episode. Salt Lake City is running things. Bravo, you did good with this cast. Let's keep it going. It is only what? We are at episode 10. Oh gosh. I don't know how many more episodes we got, but I am here for it all, honey. Besties, you drop down the comments and let me know how you felt. Well, any comments you have, and I'll respond back. If you talk back, I'll talk. You talk, I'll talk back. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye, besties.